Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 8 of the VR Inside podcast. This is a weekly VR, AR, and MR talk show that is live streamed every Saturday on Nathie's YouTube channel. You can tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, and 10 a.m. in Central US. If you missed the podcast, you can catch up with it every Sunday, where I upload the show to my own YouTube channel, Virtual Reality Oasis. Or alternatively, if you want to listen to the audio-only version, you can check out the podcast on Google Play Music and on iTunes. If you have any questions or comments during the show, please put them in the chat and we'll try and answer as many as we can. So guys, I'm just going to introduce you to everyone in the room. So first up, in his spare time, he likes to cosplay as a unicorn. That's right, it's the one and only Nathie.
Hey,
how you doing, man?
That's right.
You all right?
I like to be
Mike,
a unicorn.
where do you come up with it?
I like to be a unicorn together with my mom sometimes, you know?
A unicorn
party, we do it. So.
A unicorn is a magical creature, man. There's no shame in that whatsoever.
I'm not ashamed at all.
No. You pull it off, man. You pull it off really well.
I know.
We have Austin, Danger Powers, Mr. Prometheus. How you doing, dude? You all right?
Wow. Look at that smug grin. This is going to be like our consultant the whole show.
He looks so happy.
Yeah,
he
looks really
so what's your view on the war on terror in the VR industry?
Yeah. Oh, man. This is what happens when it's live. So for our audio listeners, Mauritius's screen has just completely frozen on us. I will allow him to come back into the room, so hopefully he can get that fixed. But we'll carry on with the show and we'll start this one out. So anyway, guys, next up, you will really like him when he gets rowdy, and that is the rowdy guy. How you doing, man?
Hey everyone, I'm alright.
And I know you guys like this one from the last episode, so I'll say it again. He's not happy unless he's live, and that is Mr. Zimtok5. How you doing?
I'm so you're gonna turn that into my tagline. I don't know.
It has to be. It has to be. It's
I'm
just
good.
so good.
I'm good.
Man.
I think Prometheus has made me a very happy guy today.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
he
he's
just,
just logged off, so hopefully he will log back in.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Here he is.
He's back.
Here he is.
Nothing happened.
So
Don't worry about
I'll
it.
introduce you again. So here we have Austin, Danger Powers, Mr. Prometheus. How you doing, man?
Were you introducing me as I dropped out?
yeah.
Exactly the same time. Yeah.
That's perfect.
The comedy timing couldn't be any better, to be honest.
There you go.
So,
How you doing, everyone?
and last but not least, myself, the host of the show, the bearded bald guy, Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis. So welcome to the show, everyone. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Dell, the Windows Mixed Reality headset. We're going to be talking about the Pimax 8K. We're going to be talking about Minecraft coming to Windows Mixed Reality, Five Nights at Freddy in VR, Bullets and more, and some funny stories from the VR community. So how are you all guys doing today? You all right?
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Minus the dropout.
I mean, at least you got a beard, Mike. Just saying. I mean, I don't have a beard at all. Like, look at me. I can't
Look
even
at last
grow one
week
in
we
the
drew
first
it.
place.
Who drew it in on Nathie last week on that image?
I don't know. I don't know, but it looked nice on me.
Yeah,
It was
it was a good look, actually. It was a good look.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we're going to kick off today's show talking about the Dell Windows Mixed Reality headset. So
Did you
in
break
last, man, it was like last week's episode. I was like, I told you guys that I bought it and I did an unboxing, but I hadn't actually tried it at all yet. So I've actually had this week off work, so I had loads of time to try it out, play some games, played Halo Recruit, played Super Hot, also messed around in the Cliff House, but also just got to really sort of put the headset through its paces and find out what it was all about. So unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend buying one that is like straight off the bat just to get it out there. And I gave it sort of like a fairly negative review. But I think I was pretty fair with it. But the
What
kind
would
of
you rate it out of 10, Mike?
6, 5, very average, very
okay.
average.
Okay.
So basically, what I'll do is I'll say the good things about it first. There are some good things about it. So straight off the bat, the inside-out tracking it just works. It does work, and it works very, very well. Once you've gone through the initial setup procedure, the headset can be just plugged in without any configuration, and it just works. It boots up into Cliff House, and you can choose what experience you want to do from there. So that's really, really nice. Also, when you sort of but the thing is, like, it's not like a massive step up in terms of quality. Like, do you know, like everyone's talking about how it's that little bit crisper than the Rift and the Vive. Well, I would say that that's marginally better, but not like an upgrade in my opinion. So I kind of like compare it to the iPhone 6 and the 6S, for example. Like, that's not an upgrade in my opinion. Hold on, what's happening here with Austin?
I'm sorry. I don't understand what's going on. If this keeps happening, we'll figure something else out.
Okay, we're good now. We're good now. So yeah, going back to the clarity of this Windows mixed reality headset, like, people are saying that it's a little bit clearer, but to be honest, like, the upgrade from the Rift and the Vive is just so marginal that I wouldn't call it an upgrade in my opinion. And the way I kind of compare it to is, like, say you're upgrading from an iPhone 6 to a 6S, you know, like, there's maybe some functions that are going to be okay, but in terms of like the screen resolution itself, it's not actually a big improvement or an upgrade in my opinion. You know, what I'm looking for is the biggest sort of leap forward, which is like, say, from an iPhone 6 to an iPhone X, for example. That's the kind of leap that I want, and that's the kind of leap that's going to get me excited to move to another platform, but not Windows mixed reality. It's not going to be the one for me. So there was, like I say, some good things. It is very easy to use. You just plug it in and it works. Also, say if you had like a really powerful laptop, for example, and you wanted to demo at a friend's house, well, this would be perfect for that. You could literally just plug it into your laptop, go around to your mates, and they could use it without setting up any sensors or anything, and it's just going to work straight out the box. So in that sense, I think it's got some major advantages, but it's just everything else that is lackluster in my opinion.
Just a reminder, it was a Dell you got.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And in terms of specs, it's actually probably one of the better ones out of the whole range, you know, apart from the Samsung Odyssey that's coming up in the very near future. So Bro's just dropped out again. Yeah. So
what was the price of the one that you did, if you don't mind?
So the price,
you didn't have to import it, right? You just went and bought it straight out of retail?
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of half the reason why I bought it, really, because it was in my local store, and I went in there and it was £429. So the big thing is that it just doesn't compare to, you know, the Rift in many ways, which is cheaper. You know, the Rift is now permanently reduced down to $399. So it just didn't seem like a logical step that you would spend a little bit more money for something that didn't perform as well.
Yeah.
So just going on to the other points, like the controllers themselves, like obviously they're sort of a standard controller that come with all the headsets, apart from the Samsung one where they've kind of designed their own, which looks a little bit more ergonomic in a way. So it could be a bit more comfortable. But the one that ships with all the other ones is based off the same design, and it just doesn't feel right in your hands, like especially from someone that's been using the Oculus and the Oculus Touch for like the last 10 months. You're so used to that real nice ergonomic grip with the touch controllers that when you move over to something like this, it just doesn't feel right. That's right. Lovely Zim, my beautiful assistant, demoing.
I'm like kind of disappointed about that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, you know, with the controllers, they feel really like flexy and plasticky in your hands. And then the actual ring on the end, you can flex it. So, you know, my initial concern was like, if I end up smashing the wall, which I do quite regularly with the touch controllers, how well it's going to last, you know, is it just going to completely snap off? And I think had I not intended to take it back, I would have been tempted just to give it that real stress test and snap it. But yeah,
God, really?
Yeah, I was tempted because I almost wanted to just show how flimsy it was, because you know I couldn't destroy this particularly easily. I don't think in my mind, you know.
Yeah, these are really. I mean, you hit a lady with that, that's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah, exactly. and the
I always say
controller's
because my
gonna
wife
stay.
hits me with these.
But the thing is, the controller's going to stay in one. It's not going to break, right? Whereas, you know, if you smash the Windows mixed reality controller against the wall, it probably will break after a couple of goes.
Yeah. But how was like the combo between like the touch pad and the thumbstick, like gaming wise? Have you encountered anything where it's really getting used at the same time, where you like walk with the thumbstick and then use like a menu with like the touchpad in a way, like a nice combo where you're like, hey, this is smooth, this could work in a way? Do you think it could work?
Yeah, like this is what I admire their design in a way that they've implemented both, because I think that's very smart. You know, they're covering both bases. Obviously, the touch controller comes with a thumbstick. The Vive one comes with a touchpad. So integrating both is a smart decision, I think, in that sense. But I just think it's everything else about the controller that's lackluster in many ways. You know, it just feels very, very cheap. And also,
but
like,
isn't it also because it is like a little part like cheaper than the other headsets? That they, I mean, well, if you look at retail price, of course, like the price that they released at both of them, because of course the Oculus is already now a while older.
Yeah,
more like entry VR is how they.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, now that the Rift is that price, I would think you have to compete with it at that price, you know? And true. The other thing is that they've had a year to see what the competition are doing. You know, they've obviously been taking notice of what Oculus have been doing and what HTC have been doing, but yet they don't seem to have innovated or pushed the sort of VR any further forward in what they've developed here. You know, it feels like in many ways that they've taken a step back. Because it feels like it should be back in the DK2 era. Like if this was released back then, I think we would be feeling very differently about it. But because we've had these great headsets around for so long now, certainly for us as kind of VR veterans, it's just kind of like, well, what is this? We don't really understand it in many ways.
Okay. So from a consumer standpoint, that like no one that bought a headset yet, if someone would buy it without really doing research on a Rift or a Vive, would that person be fine in the end?
Yeah, I think they're going to enjoy it. But the other thing is, there is no experiences to kind of ease you into VR. Like if you look at the Oculus, for example, as soon as you set the Rift up, you get put into like, what is it, first contact? You get that amazing experience with that little robot, you know, and that's really like a brilliant way to start someone off in VR. You know, it's very, very basic, but very nice, creates this nice environment that you can play around with the physics and the way your hands can sort of interact with objects in the world. And it's a very nice way of easing yourself into it. Whereas with this, it doesn't have any tutorial or any entry sort of VR experience for you to try other than just walking around your virtual house.
Yeah.
So
and also the 3D in that first contact, it's so well done. Like how you feel absolutely in that space. That is something that's really nice, yeah.
And the other thing that Oculus did was they had the Oculus Dream Deck as well, you know, with those little like snippets of experiences that you can try. And obviously there's one that where you're really, really high up and you get that real sense of height in your gut. It's like, you know, really, really cool. And then you have that T-Rex coming at you, which is also really, really like an amazing experience. For someone that's never tried VR before to see that and feel that is amazing to them. Whereas, you know, Microsoft don't seem to have...
I mean, the Dream Deck one, it was very nice, but I mean, it's kind of outdated because it was made for the Rift release, you know, with a gamepad. So it's not like a controller thing. So if you really want to introduce people,
it's also interesting though. Like Nathie, when you first did it, right? When you first went into it, because we've got a similar tenure in this place. Like, okay, first contact was still impressive to me, having gone through all the other starters and you know demos that people had concocted to introduce people to VR. But Dream Deck, at least when I first ran it, first off, it didn't run very well, and second, it wasn't very impressive. It was very forgettable. A couple of months later, maybe 6-8 months later, I went back in, and it's smooth. It's good for a newbie, but I'd say there's nothing there for someone who's been around the block. So that's where I was interested in, Mike, in what's it called again? The interface that's used, the equivalent of Oculus Home. Is that any
Cliff
good?
House? It's just boring. It's just a house. It's just a very bare house that you can decorate yourself. You know, you can put window tiles on the wall, so you could have like a browser on one wall. You could have like the store on the other wall. You can have like other bits and pieces all plastered around your house, but nothing that's really like interactive in a way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, total skip.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like the reason why I mentioned Oculus Dream Deck is that a friend of mine who's really not into computers at all, and before First Contact came out, I showed him the Dream Deck with the T-Rex. He still talks about it to this very day, you know, like, and says that it's one of the most amazing things he's ever experienced. And that's kind of like amazing, you know, in a way that you can share that with someone. But what I'm saying is here that I think Microsoft missed a trick and missed an opportunity there to do something really nice. To show something off on their new platform.
So like what I think, like So basically what this headset is it's really nice for developers, I guess, but it's not really for consumers. But that's the problem I had with this whole mixed reality campaign. It's not clear for who it is. So it's like, you know, I think if you are a developer, it's very nice. I think it's super cheap and it brings a lot of possibilities. But consumer-wise, it's just a trap in a way. It's not bringing them anywhere VR-wise.
Well, we've kind of talked hardware and some of the software entry points, but what about actually what it'll play? It's not playing Oculus home games or Oculus exclusives, right? And Steam, how compatible is it with Steam? And what can you actually play on it now?
Okay, so you've obviously got Halo Recruit, which we all know about.
Stop saying that word, Mike. Please.
Don't call it Halo.
No, it really is not. It really is not.
We've got some other games that were launched with it as well, but they're all titles that we, as VR veterans, have been playing for like the last year. So you've got Super Hot, Arizona Sunshine, Form, Space Pirate Trainer. You've got Luna as well, but it's literally a very small, tight library of games. And the Steam VR integration isn't coming until December. So the point is, if you're going to buy one now, well, this is pretty much all you've got really up until December when you've got access to the full Steam VR library. So that's a real shame, in my opinion. I think they should have, you know, maybe even delayed the launch or made Steam available at least on day one, because otherwise you're just going to have nothing to play for the next few months. You know, you're going to be very disappointed. But then again, you know, on the flip side, going back to some positives, I played Super Hot, which is still one of my favorite experiences in VR. I really love that title. Yeah. And it worked, absolutely fine. So I could literally just put the headset on, launch Super Hot, and I'll be playing as I would be on the Rift.
That is a real big feature, though.
I gotta ask. This is a great point for me to ask this question because I've been burning to ask it, which is, why do you like Super Hot? I found it to be incredibly short. It's like an hour and a half, and now I'm someone who likes bite-sized content, but I didn't find it, other than it to be kind of like almost a demo. The bits that I liked about it were where you go out to that .NET hack piece where you're outside the level, and that bit was awesome. That was really cool. Like I could see that spinning off into its own universe. But the actual gameplay, I was like,
really?
Yeah, it was mediocre to me.
Because
I really didn't find it that
interesting. Up to this day, it's still like, I think like one of the best VR experiences that I've had. I really had a great time in Super Hot, and Endless Mode is something that I could like just keep on playing as well. I really enjoyed playing with Super Hot. Also the mechanics of like, you know, the slowing down of the bullets. I mean, it's been done before in VR, but the way that they've done that is, I found that I had a lot of fun in that title.
Still, the main game was pretty fun, but it was like you just played it once and that's it. For me, at least, I wouldn't really play it again. But the update they did after that, where you had like endless mode and all kinds of crazy modes, then it became like really challenging and fun in a way. But I do understand, like, it depends on how many like experiences you had as well. And I can see it getting like boring in a way, but you also have to use your imagination a bit, where you're really the superhero of the game. If you don't really like use your imagination with it, I can understand it's not that exciting to play. But if you really get into it and you're like, whoa, I'm Neo from the Matrix, yo, I'm doing
or John Wick or something,
then it's
right?
Like,
that's what I did.
It's a very interrupted experience, though. Like the levels are quite short. Like you're talking, 2-3 minutes, and then boom, you're into another kind of what I would call like a VR loading scene, and then so I didn't find myself getting really that deep into the immersion. It kind of feels like layers of Inception.
Maybe it's also because
I haven't tried the ongoing mode, so I will try that.
But could it also be because it didn't really have a story, so you were like missing, what am I really playing here in a way, or wasn't that really a factor for you?
No, I don't think that it doesn't have to be that. It's just, game design that stands out to me as something that's unique and that kind of gives you that feeling. Yeah. The same feeling that you guys, I suppose, felt, which is like, ooh, I'm Max Payne, I'm slow bullet diving. I felt, really recently in this indie game that's coming up that I tried at EGX recently. Name of it is Honeypot Espionage, which I think is, again, a really tough title, because you'd think that sounds like a beekeeper, right? Honeypot Espionage. But, that gave me that feeling, but Super Hot didn't. So,
well, I think still for me, like I have to agree with Rowdy. Like it's just one of the standout titles for me, and I think it's just the sense of power it gives you, in that you are dodging these bullets and then shooting someone, then catching their gun in midair and then dishing it out to someone else. I don't think there's any other game that makes you feel like such a badass.
Yeah, it made me feel like
Recall though does just that, doesn't it? I mean, Robo Recall, I would say, does that better and in a more colorful, comedic way.
I think Robo Recall's missing some of the magic that Super Hot provides in many ways. I don't know what it is. It's just,
I was going to say, it's like, this is one of those things that just becomes down to personal taste, I think.
It totally is. And I'm glad that, we've got different opinions on things, definitely. 100%, because it sparks, discussion like this, absolutely. But yeah, like, Super Hot did just work on this device, and I had no issues with the tracking whatsoever of the hands. But at the very beginning of, before I actually jumped into the game, I was testing the limitations of the hand tracking, because obviously it is tracked by the cameras that are on the front of the headset itself. So if you take the controller behind your head out of view of the camera, then the hand just loses tracking completely and doesn't actually start moving again until you reintroduce it in front of your eyes. So it wasn't a problem in Super Hot. It wasn't a problem in any of the other experiences that I tried, but I could just see it being a problem in some scenarios. Because, like, say Killing Floor Incursion, for example, on the Rift, there's many times where I've played that game where you're completely surrounded by enemies, and you're kind of like holding off and looking at enemies in front of you, but also kind of shooting behind you without looking at the same time. And I find myself doing that fairly regularly in that game, where I'm trying to sort of keep a horde from jumping on me, right?
I mean, it's a must to have something behind you in a way where it's tracked, you know.
Also,
and that can be a backpack from the gallery, for example, or a sword you're pulling out, or like, holsters.
Or also any kind of like bow game that you play, it's also always, that you actually aim next to your head, huh? So that's
right.
Something that will
that's right, and I think that's where it's going to be a problem. And the thing is, like, the controllers work like 98% of the time. You're going to have this small percentage of the time where it's not going to be tracked. But quite frankly, that's just not good enough for me as a gamer. Do you know what I mean? Like, and competitive gamers as well are just going to be like, well, no. Say if you're a lone echo competitive gamer, right, and that's your bag. Well, if I said to you, okay, here's a controller, mate, but it's only going to work 98% of the time, the other 2% of the time, it might not work, then you're going to be like, well, this is no use to me because I need it to work 100% of the time, 100%. Do you know what I mean?
There's an interesting parallel to that, actually. And I absolutely agree with you, Mike. So my wife and I, she's on Android, I'm on Apple, right? And we both use the thumbprint scanner or whatever to get in through the home. And it's very similar to that. Like on mine, it's working literally, 99% of the time. I don't think it's ever not worked, actually. And on hers, it's like 8 of 10 times. And she's like, "Feck it, I'm not gonna deal with this." Right. So it's the same thing. If it's just pissing you off, you're like, drop it. But I just don't understand who's buying this headset. Who's buying any of the MR headsets? I don't understand. Maybe in chat there's somebody who's like, this is my first entry point. I can finally afford it. It's standalone. It goes on the road. Because that's one thing we saw at Connect. People were just, whipping it out and, playing with it in public. It was, sorry, you know what I mean? Like it was really easy to do that and to show someone else an experience. So like developers on the road, it seems to be the strongest headset right now.
It's definitely like a development thing, but that's the problem. And that's what I hate about the whole mixed reality thing. It's just not, they don't seem to market it in a way like Mike bought it in a store. If someone just gets curious in a way and is like, oh, hey, that's VR and I want to get it, so, but that's it. Like they don't seem to really push it anywhere, I haven't
even know it was in stores
up on the internet or, so they also don't really seem to be in a hurry to promote it. It's like they just expect maybe the VR community to maybe early adopt it in a way. But that's it. Like some people buy it, but it's not for them and they don't know. And that's the issue I have with it.
But yeah, you're right. It just feels like that's what I said in my video, And the thing is, the video that I did where I said, all this stuff in the video has got real sort of divided opinions on whether people think I'm completely biased or like, that I'm talking rubbish. And I'm I said at the very beginning, my basis is that I've been using the Rift for 10 months. So that's kind of like my ground level. And this is what I expect from VR. But the other thing is that's really annoying and sort of is a real bad point in my mind is that they've branded it as mixed reality. And again, like people need to know very, very clearly that these cameras on the front of the headset do not allow pass-through for augmented reality experiences. They're just there for the tracking alone. I think that's a really, really big point, because still, even now to this day, people are very, very confused and are talking about, oh, it's okay because they're going to be bringing augmented reality applications in the future. That's simply not true.
It's because of the name that people think about. It's also because of the trailers we have seen so far, where they really simulate it in a way where it's like, wow, I'm like standing here in my own universe, and then they simulate a living room that is actually that home menu, but people think it can be their own living room, and they don't really explain it in a way. So
that's right.
That's right. And I also think because they have, of course, that those Windows glasses, the HoloLens is of course meant for augmented reality, and I think they try to like brand that in there as well, because you can access those apps sometimes. So I think that they try to nibble off like two cakes a little bit there.
Nibbling on two cakes.
Yeah,
that's gonna stay with me, Rowdy.
You're right, because basically that's why they've called it the mixed reality platform, is because they're going to be selling VR and AR devices on the same platform.
And it made me wonder, because we touched upon this, I think, in the last stream as well, where we said, what is the market that they're aiming this at? Because I find it too pricey to be, competing with like the Rift and the Vive. But it's also maybe I find it too it's not competitive enough to be pricing with the Rift or the Vive. But it's also a little bit too expensive when you compare it to like other headsets, like for example the Gear VR, or like those kind of like more moderate VR experiences. So I wonder like where are they trying to aim this at?
So I've been thinking about this more since I did my video, and I can tell you now that it's not targeted for enthusiast level VR people. It's not targeted at gamers. It's not targeted at sort of people that want social. It's targeted at the casual gamer, I think, because they can play games, but it's just
I don't know, man. Like this is the cost of somebody who's got like a PS4, who's like, maybe I'll go for a PSVR. That they should go for 10 times over this MR rubbish, to be honest. I mean, this is one of the things I was going to say. There's some really good sales coming up. Maybe we'll touch on it a little bit later, but there's some good deals out there for PSVR stuff. For anyone who's like, I want to get into VR. And if you have a PlayStation sitting there, the entry cost is less than an MR headset, right? So
and I think they also treat you better in the long term than But like something that people do not realize, if you are new to VR, you think like, hey, so we got a Rift, we got a Vive, and we got mixed reality, and they're all like kind of like close to each other in price, but they don't realize that the price it has been made for was much higher, but it dropped because they had to like compete with each other a bit. The production price of the mixed reality headsets is way lower than the one of the Vive and the Rift, but people see the same price, so they will think it's all the same and the same quality in a way.
But eventually,
so like it's like a sneaky thief between all the like headsets right now, trying to seduce some people to get it in a way. I think there are enough people already that bought one right now that never tried VR, where they were like, you know what, let's just buy one now, and oh, this one looks the best because the design is cool, and oh, it has some games on there I see super hot. Let's buy this one because the box is nice and the design is really cool. That's all, and then they take it home, and then that's their first expectation of how VR is.
But eventually we will get like a rift between like the more cheaper headsets and the more pricier headsets, which will probably be like the Vive and the Oculus Rift. But at this point in time, there is not really that kind of competition, because you have, of course, the Windows mixed reality headsets that now are roughly around the same price as you have, for example, already an Oculus Rift, which is already what, 2 years old now. So I think that is indeed, you have that problem there now, I think, because people think that the two headsets are maybe can do the same thing.
Plus, I mean, customer support wise, like we know what we can expect from Oculus, we know what we can expect from HTC. Beware of their customer support, but like it's just very nice how everything has been built around it. Well, like the mixed reality headset doesn't have a community yet. It's not clear for who it is. who's this community going to be that owns it? You know, I don't have the feeling it's a gamer club that has one. You know, so. I don't know.
The other big flaw for me was the lack of audio, the lack of built-in audio. You know, it's just a given. Like I've had the Rift for so long, and you know, like I've reviewed other detachable earphones for the Rift recently, and what I've discovered was that the actual ones that come with the Rift are really, really good in many, many ways, and they're absolutely fine. And so when I use this headset, the lack of built-in audio was a real issue. And, you know, I got the HyperX Cloud 2 headset, right? It's probably one of the more popular ones available for PC gamers. And it just didn't fit over the Dell strap. So then I had to wear it underneath the headset. And then some guy some guy on my video was like,
"Can I get a picture of that, Mike, after this, please?"
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it looks awful. And some guy was like, "Hey, Mike, you noob, you have to wear your headset over the strap." I was like, dude,
dude, show it now. Like, seriously, show it. I mean, you got it somewhere, right? Yeah. I mean, just show how easy or hard it is to do it. Or did you already like return it?
I've already returned it. Yeah.
Hey, so I was going to ask you, did you get your money back?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. And the thing is as well, like I took it back to the shop, and a bit like the experience of buying it, you know, the guy didn't even know what the thing was, you know, it's almost like it looked like some sort of alien technology to him. He didn't know.
But it's so weird. Like, but it's also so weird. Like Microsoft wants, for example, Altspace, because they bought it. They want it to be their social mixed reality experience. But if they don't even have a mic built in, it's like, okay, but maybe they're like, hey, we're going to sell some smart gadgets too later on. Hey, headphones on it, click, bam, done. You know, I don't know. I have the feeling that this is not for consumers. Like, don't bother if you are just a gamer or someone that wants to experience VR. Then, like, it's not for you, okay? If you are a developer, then take a serious look at it in a way, because it can be interesting. That's about it. It's for developers, not consumers.
Yeah, and the other thing totally. I totally agree. And the other thing I just want to touch on to sort of round it up is that it's just not very nice to create content with. Like, we're all content creators. You know, like the Oculus has its own issues when it comes to creating content with it, because, you know, the field of view is kind of reduced and there's issues with that. But with this, it doesn't help you in any way to record the content that you're seeing on the screen. And when you do eventually get it to record, it doesn't look very nice the way it's portrayed in the video. It looks nicer in the headset than it does in the video. So again, it's, you know, I can't see many people using this headset to say, oh, I'm going to be a mixed reality Windows YouTuber, you know, or Twitch streamer. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I will not be splitting off onto another MR channel. I'm going to skip MR stuff in entirety.
That's good to know. It's good to know. The VR community still needs you, dude.
But it's just interesting to see how every time a new headset gets announced, what it does to all the community members of VR, where it's like, ooh, we got a new player coming in, and now we can certainly say that mixed reality is not really a serious player in this like whole like VR war yet. But it will happen. You know, I have the feeling next year we can expect more. I mean, you can see how fast suddenly a headset comes out and how fast it just drops in a store, you know. So I don't know, but it will make the whole VR like experience, it will make it very different for a lot of people. More opinions, more experiences, more silly fights on Facebook and Twitter.
But nonetheless, it's nice to see Windows dipping their toes into virtual reality as well. I mean, that's a good thing. That's always a good thing.
It depends on how serious they already want to go, like with it in a way, you know. That's like the real question.
So we're gonna take the MR thing and we're gonna shove it into Pandora's box, because now that we've spent 30 minutes of all of our time, and we're gonna lock it and never talk about it ever again, unless they release Perfect Dark, an AR application where you can play Perfect Dark in the real world.
I just want to say one more thing. I just want to say one more thing, actually, before you like really lock that box. Just tuck it back out for a second, because I would say that if for some reason, you know, the Windows mixed reality platform appeals to you in any way, I would say wait till December, and I would say look seriously at the Samsung Odyssey headset, because it is different from the others in that it's got built-in audio. I think the resolution is going to be slightly better, and that's probably the one to go for if you're going to have a Windows mixed reality headset. That's probably going to be the one. So that's all I'm going to say.
But again, if you are a developer, then you should get that one. Like,
and you are saying this having not tried it, right, Mike?
Yeah, you just did.
But you mean on specs level in terms of what it's promising and what we've heard from others?
Yeah. Like, obviously, I you know, if I can get the opportunity to try one, I'll be more than happy to try one. You know, I'm not going to shut the door on it completely, but I just still don't think it's going to compete with the Vive or the Rift in many ways. Yeah. So that is my thoughts on, and our thoughts on Windows mixed reality as a whole. And I'd be interested to know what the chat has to say about this, because, you know, maybe there is some people in the chat that have bought one and are happy with it, or maybe they're not happy with it. Maybe they took it back, because there's a lot of comments on the mixed reality Reddit.
That's rare. I haven't seen many people tell me like, hey, Nathie, I just got one. And, you know, like most people I know that are still waiting for a headset, don't buy it. They're like, okay, you know, they know what the Rift can do. They see every YouTuber play around with a Vive and a Rift. And that's also one of the things that weighs in. If they see people on Twitch or YouTube play around with certain headsets, then that's the ones they go for, and not for like mixed reality. It's kind of rare. I haven't seen many YouTubers play around with it. Like hardcore.
I think I'm one of the first.
Yeah, well, congratulations. You're a rare dodo now. So let's see, do we have anyone? Let's see. Glad I bought a Vive. Well, I think you're safe with a Vive or a Rift right now.
Yep. I don't think that's going to change for a long, long time.
My ex was crazy at mixed reality. Wait, that's why it's your ex now,
exactly.
So obviously sitting here looking for the next person, right? The next special somebody.
Yeah. So if you talk to your girlfriend about mixed reality, you know it's going to end, okay? Don't. I warn you.
I'm thinking of buying an HP mixed reality headset for Christmas.
Yeah, I see. Well, I mean, in the end, like, you can try it. There's nothing wrong with trying. That's for sure.
But you know, if you want the games library, you want the built-in audio, you want the better controllers, just get a Rift at $399. Yeah. You know, or get a Vive. You know,
some people are still like, you know, when I was really surprised as a. I'll call myself a Rift boy, right? Because I started on DK2 and had the DK1 experience. But I was really surprised when Oculus fumbled at launch and Vive took up so much of the popularity vote. I mean, I'd say 9 out of 10 people at a certain part of that year were saying Vive. It switched around a fair amount this year. And also PSVR's taken a big chunk of that.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because we still have the debate on the show very often where someone comes in, they say Vive's clearly the best, it's the most expensive, the best technology, I'm definitely going to go for that, I'm going to splash for that. And it's very difficult to explain to people the point that I think Nathie mentioned, like these things are being hugely subsidized. Like the Rift, in terms of its manufacturing cost and the tooling and the manufacturing of it that they're doing, and them understripping the cost of that, it is a very well built kit. I mean, the Oculus controllers, as you said, I could probably break a glass window with one of these if I wanted to, you know, and not damage them. I've knocked them off the wall, and there's literally nothing there. And actually, the Vive controller, to be fair to them, when the Vive launched, that headset is like, it's actually not too heavy, but it feels like a brick house. Like it could take an impact. And same thing, you know, any Gorn players know these things can really, these things can hurt.
Yeah.
No, that's right. So, you know, if you've got an Oculus or a Vive right now, there's no reason to upgrade. Just hold tight, and I'm sure there'll be something else around the corner. And that kind of brings us on nicely to the Pimax 8K. So the Pimax 8K, it's just hit 2.5 million backed on Kickstarter. Insane. And it's got 6 days left.
Damn. Sorry, is that money or is that people?
No.
Money.
Okay. Money.
Wow.
Yeah, it actually
it could have been 2.6 million people lined it up for the Pimax.
Crazy.
In terms of money, it's beaten the Rift now, I think. No?
Yeah.
So tell us, Mike, the Pimax, is it like the Raspberry Pi that they just bolted a VR headset to? Is that it?
Unfortunately not, because that would have made it easier for everyone. They could have built their own. But yeah, so essentially the Pimax is doing really, really well on Kickstarter. You know, they're saying that if they hit 3 million in terms of dollars backed, that eye tracking will also be included in the headset, which is interesting. And I think there's probably a likely possibility that this is going to happen because, like I say, we're just under a week away and we're at 2.5 million at the moment.
What's the goal? What was their goal? They've succeeded past their goal, have they?
Oh, I think the goal was something like 500,000, something like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
They smashed their goal within about 4 days, I think.
And how does it work now? Because I don't tend to kickstart very much. I was not an Oculus Kickstarter, although I wish I had been. Everyone does, and wish I had the lovely plastic box.
And you wanted to call yourself a Rift boy?
Yeah. Some people have families to feed, Nathie.
Oh, yeah,
Let's not start down that path.
Some people had to go with the Hummy though. You know what that is?
Oh no, don't.
Oh, poor you.
Hey, at least he started. That's the important thing. If you haven't started down this track, get started.
Exactly.
You'll be glad you did.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just now with the Windows MR headset.
No, exactly. So with Kickstarter, how it works is you kind of are pledging that you're going to pay this money, you know, when the Kickstarter ends. So in 6 days' time, everyone that's sort of pledged that they're going to, you know, invest in it as such, you know, the full package, if you buy the headset, the base stations, the controllers is $799. So it's going to be about like what, 600 quid, is that, Zim? About that?
600 quid versus dollars, you mean?
Yeah,
that keeps deteriorating. It's only like 90% versus 100% now. It's not a good exchange rate. So
okay, so it's going to be around 700 quid then maybe for the whole set. So in 6 days, because you've pledged that amount, when the sort of Kickstarter ends, that's when they take your money, and then they sort of pledge that they're going to start shipping these devices in February. Now, I think February is going to be a bit of a stretch for them because maybe they didn't anticipate the amount of people that are going to be interested in this device. Yeah. And certainly if you look back historically at the Rift, for example, like that kept on slipping and slipping and slipping in terms of ship dates. So I wouldn't be like, you know, holding your breath for like the February release. But I do think it's interesting, and I do like the fact that these headsets keep coming out and popping up. And the 8K one, it probably interests me more than the Windows Mixed Reality one in many ways because of the wider field of view. And the fact that they've just announced these like kind of knuckle clone controllers as well.
So Mike, just the basics again, just to touch on those if anyone just joined us. So Pimax, still stereoscopic vision, but you've got 2 4K displays.
At an angle,
and
right. The angle though.
Hammerhead sized. It's about this big, isn't it?
But the screens are angled as well. They're angled. They're at a different angle than the regular Vive or the Rift. So I mean, I don't know how they fix that with because it needs to be reprojected differently. But I guess it's a software-matic or something that they managed to do that.
Yeah. So at the moment, that provides a 210 field of view. So your natural peripheral vision is 220 field of view, essentially. So, you know, it's going to be as closest to your natural vision's peripheral view as it can get. So that's going to be really, really nice if they can pull that off, which I think, you know, to a certain degree from what we've heard, like we've got a good friend of the show, Sweeviver, who is very, very interested in the Pimax 8K. He did kickstart it very early on. And he recently went to AR Days in Amsterdam to try the headset out for the first time. And, you know, his early impressions were pretty good. You know, he thinks they can do it. I think we all still have our concerns because it is a Kickstarter and, you know, we've seen some Kickstarters go wayward. And I'm not saying that they won't deliver, but I'm just saying it'll probably likely be delayed. And it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with this. And I just wondered, are any of you guys actually interested in backing something like this, or are you just going to hold tight and wait to see what happens? Zim is
no
a
chance.
no.
Wait. Also,
no second chance. I mean, I like the idea, but again, from the time when it was first announced, which I think was about 1.5 years ago, the technology feels like it kind of feels like an offshoot. Like it doesn't feel like it's the main chain. Like it's going to go down this road. It kind of feels like we're going to capture a net of people who want that high resolution experience, but inevitably their piece of this whole arena is going to go away because these headsets will catch up resolution wise, and they've already got the package of the experience. So I see it being an evaporating landscape.
Also,
so
really,
I'm not interested.
Really quickly in between, we made a small mistake. The chat has corrected us. They actually got 500,000 in the very first day that they were on Kickstarter, which was more than double the goal in the first day. So they got like a lot of money really quickly. Yeah.
Where's the company based, Mike? Do you know? Is this an Asian company that's backing it or European?
It's an Asian company. Yeah.
Asian company.
Yeah. No, I think they're based the same. Like, who are the people that make it? You know, what is their experience before all of this? Like, what did they do? You know.
Yeah.
It's like for me, it's like I think it can be pretty cool if it's really what they promise, then it's gonna be a blast.
Exactly.
But like for me, I don't feel attracted to their marketing campaign. It's very vague. They don't seem to show everything off right now. It's like they got something to hide in a way where they maybe don't want to show like the kind of small issues it has. No one had it in their hands for like a couple of weeks where they could like really test it heavily. We have seen the same experiences getting played every time. We haven't seen like real on-screen gameplay with a computer next to it, with like measurement stuff on there with FPS meters and things like that. Like that's the thing. Like when you promote an 8K headset, to me, I feel like PC Master Race, you know, like show that thing like powerhouse, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's what they don't do. They come up with, hey, you can play Fruit Ninja today.
And we only have a laptop. We can only show it on a laptop. Why are they not showing this on a desktop rig?
But an 8K headset, as they call it, it's just like as a PC gamer where you got like a really nice rig, you're like, okay, I want to try that thing, you know, how is it gonna? But that's the thing they don't really promote. Like marketing wise, it's very vague. It's
if they go 8K, why don't they like load that up to like a beefy PC with like, you know, triple GTX 1080 Ti's, you know, like something really crazy, or a Titan X's, and then, you know, max it out and everything, and so look what we can do. But no, I just find it really strange that they're showing everything on the laptop, and it just seems like there are a bunch of guys traveling around.
The laptop is this. Can we dive into this a little bit? Because Rowney, so you're saying laptop. Is this because they're an Asian company sending correspondents over to a European convention show, and they have to carry, you know, a machine with them?
No, the guys that are demoing it, I think it's like a couple, they're married. According to another friend of ours, they actually live in San Francisco. So I don't think
so
still there's a travel aspect there. So I mean, I've heard of, I think the Tested guys, you know, checked out the headsets, and their video of that is actually really good. So go look it out. But the thing that I've heard on Reddit and that about this headset that really stands out is the vertical FOV. So the vertical field of view, and to basically say that is endless. So as far as your eyes can see, you're filled up.
That is amazing.
Width that is almost filled, is what I've heard.
The point what I'm trying to, because of course, you know, traveling with a laptop is easier. That's probably the reason why they're doing it. But at the same time, they got 3 million in backing. I'm sure that they can afford to fly in a desktop as well. No, I mean, if they want to show it off, how well it works.
Desktop there.
Yeah,
you know,
like why not? Why are they showing it off on a laptop?
But I haven't seen any partners of them doing anything with it. Like, where's, for example, NVIDIA or Asus, like, hey, we got a big PC, let's hook it up, or like a PC company. No one, like, they didn't show off anything with partners at all. They traveled around with one prototype. Everyone, all the press tried that one prototype, tried the same kind of games. And it's not like they just send it to you where you can try it for 3 weeks and really stress test it, where you can do everything you really want to do. So they give you a little bit of time to get you hyped. Like, that's what I felt. Like, they really tried to hype it up in a way. But I don't know.
The thing that got me worried a little bit was I followed like the AMA. They did like an AMA on Reddit. And there was this one person who said, does it require specific support? And the answer to that was, no, it doesn't require specific support. We're open VR, this and that. But if they want to, you know, if they want to make use of the big field of view, they need to use our SDK. But that is specific support, right? If they need to use your SDK and they said for field of view customizations, I don't know what those customizations are. Maybe it's indeed if you want to like pop up special things in the field of view, or is it actually using the full field of view? To use that, you need to use their SDK. And there was no further answer on that. And that got me a little bit worried, because I mean, a headset like this from a small company kind of stands or falls with the amount of support that it will get. And if games like Onward or like whatever like the most played VR games are, if they're not being fully supported, and then I mean like you actually get the full 220 or the 200 fields of view without it like being stretched or like zoomed in, because then it's not really an increase of field of view, then I'm worried about that. And I wanted to, let me be clear, I want it to be as perfect as it is. I want it to be 4K in each eye. I want it to be 200 degrees field of vision. But I don't know, there's something off about this. There's something weird. Why are they not showing this? Why are they not doing this? Why are they not answering those questions?
They're still in dev, right? I mean, the thing with Kickstarter is that you're not necessarily going to have your product to the point where you want to show it off.
Of course.
So I can understand that they're holding back to some degree. But what Nathie was saying, if you're gonna come in with the big flashy numbers, you got to be able to be ready to show your big guns.
Yeah.
And the thing that you're talking about there, Rowdy, which I think is a really important point, is that when you think about performance, and this applies to any new equipment and technology, right? Software, hardware, and drivers, right? Driver support. So like NVIDIA and AMD, are they ready to support, as you said, the translation of the game world and the optimization of you leveraging your hardware to interact with the software that a developer's written to actually take the benefit of the hardware, So
indeed, yeah,
that's a big question.
Yeah.
So I take it you guys are sort of happy to wait this one out. Wait till you can actually buy one maybe in the stores and then see what people say.
At the same time, I mean, it's not like, because I mean, I make content on YouTube, and so does Nathie, and so do you. It's not going to improve my content on YouTube, right? I mean, it's not like I need this headset to make better kind of videos or whatever. But I mean, I would like to have it, of course. I mean, if it works as they say it does, and it looks freaking awesome, then yeah, I'm definitely gonna purchase one, or I'm gonna make sure I get one somewhere.
I mean, from a review channel perspective, of course, it's like a must-have in a way.
Yeah.
Because you want to see what it does. Like maybe it's gonna replace my casual Vive play. I don't know. Maybe it seems to be a very like big thing on your head in a way. So like everyone is talking about like the specs of it, but like we also don't know how long is it going to how much can it take before it's actually breaking, or when how strong is the display and stuff like that. Like how long can it actually handle those intense play sessions? Same for the cables you use, stuff like that. So like I wanna get excited for the Pimax. I'm not hating on it. It's just that like if you already show off at your marketing campaign that you don't want to give everything away, or are like you're not going to be transparent to me or others, it's like, okay, then I just wait until you bring it out, and then we'll see if everyone is getting a great headset or not. But if it's not going to be a great headset, it's going to be a fucking disaster for VR in general, because it hurts the industry.
Yeah,
it will hurt the industry. Like it's like, have you seen how many people like back this? That's a lot of money. And if they play around...
you're saying it's the Star Citizen issue. So you're saying if you've got a truckload of people showing up with their cash and they're backloading this thing and they don't deliver, you're saying it's going to hurt the environment. Because to me, I suppose when I looked at it, it was like the MR headsets.
Trust-wise, it will hurt it. Trust-wise, it will hurt it. Well, like let's say I just worked on my own headset, and it's like a lot better than the Pimax 8K, and I want to do a Kickstarter. And everyone's like, yeah, but we had to, and then a lot of projects that actually have potential will just fade away. And people
so when is the Nathie head launching? When can I get my head into this?
You never know. Maybe like if VR is real big, I'm sure I can like build my own custom VR headset. But
will you be handling support, Nathie?
Like a unicorn here, like
it's gonna have a unicorn.
We'll have a lot of exclusive games, of course, some simulators and things like that. But no, I mean, like you get my point. I don't think it will hurt in a way where people have like headsets where
you said exclusive simulators. My mind went places, dude.
Yeah, I know. Same here. I was like, okay, but what does it actually mean?
It's a VR YouTuber simulator is the first launch title.
I would play that
wait until it like arrives at people's doorstep.
I would definitely play that. I played PewDiePie's app. I don't know if you any of you guys dabbled in it. It was fucking good. It was fucking
Legend of the Broad Fist.
I agree. It was good.
Sweetviver just joined the chat as well, and he said that Pimax is giving out free eye tracking if you reach 3 million on Kickstarter. We've already mentioned that.
Yeah. So moving on from the Pimax, obviously none of us are going to sort of be back in it, but you know, definitely want to keep an eye on what's going on there.
Yeah, waiting for the reviews.
Waiting for the reviews, indeed.
So moving on to other news, we've got, we obviously talked about Windows Mixed Reality and the fact they had no titles. Well, you've got Minecraft coming to Windows Mixed Reality. So if Minecraft is your bag, then it's also going to be available on Windows Mixed Reality, along with pretty much every other platform in existence right now.
Yeah, wow. Does it have like inside-out tracking support, or is it just like kind of, you know, I'm not sure how you play that.
So I don't know, because I've never actually played Minecraft.
What?
Like I know.
You never played it at all. You never played it in VR.
No. So what I'll do is I'm gonna allow you guys to talk about this one and take the reins a little bit.
I'll show a trailer in the meantime.
Angry on you now, man. Like
I'm gonna get some real haters.
My head was blown a little bit because I got into Minecraft very, very early on. One of the first alphas when actually there was a bug. And their servers let people in, and Reddit was like, "Oh my God, they're letting people play Minecraft for free." And a buddy of mine who I'd been gaming with for 10 years said, "You got to check this out." And I log in, and I'm like, "Feck, what is this?" I see a pig with some ice, and then I like got through the ice, and I fell under a cave, and then water was pouring in on me. I was like, "Duh!" And I got up top, and I was like, "Okay, this is pretty good." And then 3 years later, you know, I've run 7 different Minecraft servers, and you know, so I've got a lot of hours in Minecraft. This morning I spent half the day setting up my wife and daughter in a Minecraft server on our land. So it used to work incredibly well. In the DK2 days, Minecraft was one of the best experiences you can have. More recently, the Windows 10 updates are almost impossible to work in a multiplayer environment with other people and your own custom server. I wrangled with it for like 8 hours. This is after 4 years of Minecraft server administration, and then I gave up. And This is why, if you see Oculus Home and the scoring, Mike, you were talking to me about earlier, there's like a 2 or 3 star rating, you know, out of 5. It's low. I tried to rate it down myself. I tried because it is not a good experience right now. If we can get back to the thing that there was a guy called Stella Artois who did the Minecraft mod initially for the DK2. That was wonderful. Aside from being a stomach jerker, because that lateral motion, that smooth lateral motion at a low frame rate, I used to run it at like 16, 17 frames. That's how I got my VR legs, my friends. That was still a good test, an acid test for whether or not you actually had VR legs. And actually, to be fair to them, the one thing that I think Microsoft have done, having acquired the asset and actually promoted Minecraft on a variety of different platforms, the step in and step out of the picture frame. In other words, you can hop into 2D mode when you're not feeling so well, come back out and feel comfortable. You're sitting on a VR couch and you're looking at a screen and you're playing. When you're ready, you hop right back in. And that transition is absolutely gorgeous. And the frame rate on the game these days is rock solid. But the multiplayer bit, they need to get that right.
The thing with me as well has been, I've never played Minecraft, and the thing that's been holding me back has been just the amount of time that it requires, you know, to really get involved in this. Because I have the feeling that this is kind of like a game, you don't play that for like 20-30 minutes. This is a game that you literally play for like 4 or 5 hours, you know, just having fun. And I kind of need someone else as well to help me get started with this. And
guys, I'm going to find out a way, and I'm going to get you, both of you, please. Mike and Rowdy, I am bringing you guys into a multiplayer server. We're going to play together. I'm going to figure this stuff out now, all right?
I need to join now. I mean, I need to see that for myself. No, but...
Tell me, Nathie, you've covered Vivecraft, haven't you?
I haven't covered Vivecraft. I never tried Vivecraft. I mean, to be honest, like Minecraft is a fun game. You know, I really enjoyed it back in the days. Nowadays, like it got kind of old. I'm over it now. Yeah. But seriously, I did play Minecraft, an official VR Minecraft game. It was like an Oculus Home, you know, the one with the gamepad. It was very cool. You had like a cinema mode where you were sitting in a Minecraft house with a TV screen, so you could play it on a couch. And then when you press the button, you were going into the actual game, and that was a very nice like transition. But in the end, yeah, if you want to play Minecraft at its full potential, then you do it with motion controllers. But that's strange. Vivecraft and maybe some other tiny mods are the only ones that offer that. But where's Oculus doing it themselves? I mean, they promoted Minecraft a lot on like the Gear VR and then also on PC. But you can't be serious. You can't offer Minecraft on PC with just the gamepad. I mean, the touch is out for so long now.
I'm actually going to disagree with you there. I'm going to disagree with you that the touch controls, I think, actually ruined the experience. Before them, it worked very well. And people, there were mods out again. Vivecraft, I think, didn't do a great justice to things like digging. I mean, do you really want to? I mean, it's not a light controller. You know, how many hours can you do this, lads? Because trust me, at the end of that, and when you're at work the next day or whatever, and you're like, oh, my wrist is hurting so bad, they're like, yeah.
That's why all VR gamers in 2020 will be like real beefy, you know.
Yeah, like crabs, right? Or maybe even buff. You know, the top half very strong. We can talk about that at some stage, like the impact of exercise to VR users, because I think it actually is a material. Maybe when we talk about BAM a little later on, because I think it's a real effect, and actually staying a bit healthier as a gamer. You know, getting into VR has health benefits, but maybe we'll say that a little bit later on. One of the things I wanted to say, because I tweeted it out earlier, and I was really surprised, the scope of Minecraft now in terms of platforms. I'm just going to read a list, if you don't mind, Mike. I'm just going to read the list of supported platforms that Minecraft is on, because this thing has spread like a virus. Desktops, right? Windows, Mac, Linux, and Windows 10. I like to differentiate with Windows 10 because it had a special rebuild. Consoles, Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, Wii U, Switch, and the new 3DS. I don't even know what the new 3DS is. Devices, iOS, Android, Windows Phone, Kindle Fire, Gear VR, Apple TV, and Fire TV. It's on all of those.
Wow.
How do you play that? How do you play all of them?
On my Apple TV, I play Minecraft. Like, who knew that was going to be, you know, in the pipeline? I just think it's a bit mad. But
yeah, like you say.
Sorry, I was going to final point here.
Yeah,
Minecraft was one of the best social experiences, and it's what me helped gain my audience, because we were able to connect in a way and reconnect and revisit. And it's something that now, even 3-4 years on, there aren't that many titles where you can easily get in together and build something permanent. You know, a lot of the stuff is let's get together and kill some stuff, or let's get together. You're not really progressing. And it's that feeling of progression I'm hoping to see from Other Suns, honestly. Even if it's limited progression, even if it's not a 400-hour build, you know, then hopefully that would be something that we get to see.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because, like you say, it is on every platform. Obviously, now it's coming to Windows Mixed Reality, but I wonder if if it's going to make a difference in any way. Like, if it's going to attract people to the platform. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
so are there no details on how you play that?
No, but it's funny that Zim, you mentioned, like, you know, if you're doing it with the touch controllers, like chipping away at blocks all day long, you know, you're going to get some serious repetitive strain injury there. You know, that's probably not ideal, like you say,
if you don't already have it, you know.
Well,
I do, as a keyboard user for like 18 hours a day. I actually suffer from it sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
And I have to back off it.
But
you
if
know,
you could just
once you go over that 30 mark,
you'll be like you look like Morty from Rick and Morty, where he's got that really muscly one arm. You know, he's just like chipping away. That's what you'll get.
But I think, like, if you are able to change the settings of, for example, Vivecraft in a way, you can still have like a fun experience, because holding a torch, for example, and going into a cave is fun. Maybe not like cutting a tree in a way, no. But so if you could change that in a way, of course, no one wants to have like this movement all the time where they try to get a tree down and stuff like that. I mean, that's what mainly Minecraft is all about, like destroying some blocks. So that's gonna be horrible for you. To do.
Can't they like make like I don't know, like some kind of like thing that, you know, once you do, you can do like record an action and then replay like the action the entire time or something?
They actually already have some of this stuff addressed, Rowdy. I'm just being ornery. But some of this stuff is easier than I'm making it sound. They have actually polished the edges. The issue is that there's a little bit of an issue of fatigue if you're standing in your room, because as you said, right, Minecraft is the game where you get into it and you're like, oh, I'll just build a house, and you blink and all of a sudden it's morning. You know, like, it really is a game that it's about, because you're doing successive little projects or gathering and all that kind of thing. It's very easy to lose track of time. There aren't that many games that do that.
It's a very cozy game as well.
Yeah, true. Especially if you're with people, because it's totally relaxed. You can like it is a totally relaxed game. But if you guys haven't played it, then I will take it upon me to show you what Minecraft is all about. And I will break this down. I will find a way for us to connect through VR in Minecraft, and I'll show you And also test your VR legs.
I mean, that's for me. That's why I like Minecraft so much, because like when I played with Legos back in the days, like this replaced my whole Lego addiction of like the past, pretty much. That's what I would say. Like being.
When was the last time you bought something Lego, Nathie?
1.5 years ago.
I was 16 and I bought a giant spacecraft for like $100 and I put it all together. I was super happy.
Tempting.
Oh,
yeah, Star Wars Lego stuff.
I love Lego.
Oh man, that's funny.
Lego Star Wars in particular. I love Lego Star Wars.
Do you play the games? The Star Wars, or sorry, the Lego-ified like
the Lego games.
Superhero games. There's I don't actually know much, but there's a lot of them.
I've played them all with my wife. Like we play together. That's the one game we play together.
Do any of those are any of those VR compatible in any way? Even with one of the injectors?
No, and it's funny because
with injectors.
The one that we play the most is Lego Harry Potter, because my wife's like a huge Harry Potter fan.
Okay.
And when I was at Oculus Connect 4, I met the guy from Warner Brothers, and I said, "You would make my wife a very happy woman if you could just like make Lego Harry Potter in VR. That would literally, she would never leave VR. She would like sleep in the headset. She would never leave. She's obsessed with Harry Potter and living at Hogwarts. So I begged him, but he wasn't that interested, funnily enough. But yeah, you know, Lego.
No, Mike. This is a businessman thing, right? Yeah. Inside, he's going, "Holy shit, ching, 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 ching," and outside, he's going, "Don't let them know that you're onto us." You know,
probably. Yeah,
it's a surprise that there is no real Lego VR game out there. Yeah, kids would love that. Yeah, and Mike's girlfriend. But
yeah, she'd be
kids would love it, and your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I said.
We'll move on. Like obviously, we talked about Minecraft, which is a cozy game, and now the next game we're going to talk about is certainly not cozy in any way, shape, or form. This is going to be Five Nights at Freddy's in VR. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of this game or seen it or played it in the past, but essentially, a guy from the community has made a fan-made version of it in VR. You can check it out for free. You can download this thing for free. It's over on GameJolt.com. And all you need to do is search for Vive Nights at Freddy's. So obviously HTC Vive Nights at Freddy's.
So good.
And essentially what it is a room scale remake of the original game, designed for the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift. And it essentially just includes 2 nights at the moment, and then an extra Halloween special edition night. But in the future, it's going to expand to the full 5 nights and may include some other bits and pieces as well. So I wanted to make a fun video for Halloween, so I thought this would be a good title to play. I'd never played Five Nights at Freddy's before, and oh my word, it was pretty terrifying actually, because the game is just full of jump scares. And I don't know if you know, but this is essentially what you do. Your role in the game is a new security guard in this Freddy Fazbear's Pizza restaurant, where they've got these animatronic puppets that obviously play songs and stuff during the day, but at night they kind of come to life and they walk around the pizza restaurant. And you're like a security guy watching the security cameras, so you've got to like follow them around. And then when they come close to your like little security booth, you've got to like lock the doors down, because otherwise they're going to come in and attack you basically.
But the
problem is, every time you look at the security cameras or you put the lights on or you close the door, it consumes your power, and you've only got a limited supply of that. So you've got to be really careful about when you use these items to protect yourself. And it just gets really, really nerve-wracking, and it gets pretty terrifying. So
you can protect yourself with items. I don't remember that from Five Nights at Freddy's. What do you protect yourself with?
So you're protecting yourself with by closing the door. I mean,
okay, yeah.
So you can't fight them in any way. You've literally just got to close the door.
Essentially, as a game, right? I actually had a question for you guys, because I've never asked you this. Chuck E. Cheese is an American establishment where, as a kid, pretty much every birthday party is a Chuck E. Cheese. You go, you get pizza, you mix the soda of all the different flavors, you drink that, you're hypered up on energy, and then you see these animatronic puppets display, and it's kind of fun, kind of creepy, all the way up as you're growing up. Is there anything like that, animatronic anything, in Europe?
The only thing I've seen is at Disneyland, which is the Rainforest Cafe. I don't know if you've ever been there. But every like half an hour, they have like a thunderstorm, and all the puppets come to life, like all the animals. That's kind of cool. They have that at Disney.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen
not
anything
like a restaurant kind of way. No.
Yeah, let's leave that in the U.S. I don't think it belongs over here. We can keep our nice, fine cultured restaurants.
This is the kind of stuff that nightmares are made of, literally. Like, I think I'd be terrified, because if it's anything like this, then I'm just gonna have reoccurring nightmares.
I was still
sorry, it's not a torture dungeon for children. Although I would love to create one of those.
That's what it seems like.
I was still looking for something to play on Halloween, so maybe I should give that one a try then.
Definitely.
So one question, like, how do the jump scares work in that game? Because I mean, I'm scared, always scared. So
okay. So you're in your little security guard booth, and you're watching the video cameras, and you can see the animatronics moving through the sort of restaurant towards your booth, and you're like, oh, he's coming, he's going to be outside like soon, and then you can hear the footsteps, and then you turn the light on, because obviously you can't see because it's dark in the corridors, so you turn the light on in the corridor, and then he's just like there, standing at the door, which is like, it makes you die. And then you have to hit the button to close the door so he doesn't come in and attack your face.
I think one of the main game mechanics in Five Nights at Freddy's is like battery power or charge or whatever. So like you have a certain amount, it's a balance position, right? So you got a certain amount of charge to kind of control these doors open shut, to do the cameras, and then you have like memory tickbacks, kind of like I expect you to die, the bomb game.
Keep talking and nobody explodes.
Keep talking and nobody explodes. If you get to the later levels in that, you have these timers that you have to keep kind of like suppressing, right?
Yeah.
It's very much like that one guy's going to pop out of a series of curtains, and he's going to come at you, and you have to kind of keep poking the bear to keep him in his cave. And then if you don't poke the bear and you forget, and he comes at you, and you go, oh god, and then all of a sudden he's right on top of you before you even know it.
That's right. That's really terrifying. Like
it is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, once they get you, then that's it. It's game over. Like you only get one opportunity to get it right, and you've basically got to survive up until 6 a.m. the following morning.
Through the night.
Yeah, you've got to survive the night.
It's a lot like a different game style, but very similar timeout as the Resident Evil 7 DLC on PSVR, which is the same thing. It's you start at, say, midnight, and you have to make it to 6 a.m. So you have to kind of survive through the night in blocks of time. So it's that kind of style. But if you don't scream playing it, talk to me, because I don't believe you.
Yeah, if you want to see me scream like a girl, then check out the video that will be coming out on Tuesday. Because
I think I might give it a shot. I'm not really good at horror games though. I find them awful, especially in virtual reality. But you got me kind of intrigued with this one, though, I have to say.
Yeah, and it's free as well. So if you want to check this one out, like I said, head over to GameJolt.com. And search for Five Nights at Freddy's. So that's Vive as in HTC Vive.
There's a tangent here I have to talk about, which is for anyone who's gotten into VR, particularly if you're a veteran, right? You start to look for maybe peripherals or something else that can enhance the experience. Maybe even a higher quality headset. Start scraping out there. One of the things that can materially change your impression of what you're experiencing, I've found, other than the giant rod that Rowdy's put. Okay, actually, Rowdy, tell us what that is first before I continue.
This is the ProTube VR. I bought this actually, I think 2 days ago, and I just got I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but it's like a gun mount for playing Onward and Pavlov and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people have actually recommended me. I know that, for example, Lonely Viper, he plays with this one as well. So yeah, I'm actually quite excited to try playing with.
How much is that? How much is that? That looks awesome.
This one I did get a coupon from the guy who made it, so I got 50% off. I think new, because this is like the one for Oculus and Vive, since you can see you can put Oculus in here as well. I think new this is 150 euros for Oculus and Vive if you buy like with the 2-point sling and stuff. Nice. And I think the cheapest version goes for like 75 euros or something.
So, I mean, just to explain it, right? When you're trying to hold two controllers in the air with no bracing support, and like get your gun lined up and all that, having a hard rod to hold against your shoulder, you can make that shot so much easier.
And it's actually nice since you can like pull these out as well and put that back in. So if you need to like
now I want one of those. I'm gonna tap you for your contact.
Okay.
What I was gonna say is tactile transducers. So bass shakers is what they're called. They came out of the cinema world where you're watching Jurassic Park and you're like, wouldn't it be great if I could feel the thumping footsteps of the Tyrannosaurus Rex as it's chasing me? Yeah, exactly. And you can get these like pod-shaped things that will like shake your sofa, and you mount them to the beams in the sofa. The same thing is true for VR. So there's two solutions that I've tried. One is called a butt kicker. I'll show you in a moment. I'll struggle and lift my chair up and show what it looks like. But these things, they can really enhance the experience. Like the other one that I've got is called a Subpack M2, and they've actually just launched a new version, the Subpack M2X. This is the M2, the original one, and it's worn like a hydro pack. You wear it on your back. They're quite pricey, but if you find a used one or something like that, totally worth the experience. Like I played Farpoint with this, 8 hours with this and the gun controller and all that. Fantastic. Like it felt like I was in the middle of a film for 8 hours straight. It was just so good. And the punch that it gives you is like, once you play with it, you don't want to play without it. And horror games are terrifying. Like you think they're bad enough when it's just noise. When you feel something running at you, there is something inside you, like Neanderthal level, that just makes you die inside a little bit, right?
But are you looking to get a heart attack
in my beard because of this? But it is totally worth the experience. So look these things up if you want some recommendations.
Are you trying to be like the first Twitch streamer to like die on stream or something?
I've tried several times.
I'm gonna say play Five Nights at Freddy with that thing on.
Oh yeah.
It's rough. I'll show you this thing. Okay, my chair. Anyone else who has the IKEA Marcus? It's a kind of a giant thing.
I've got the same chair.
Hopefully won't. Oh, right. So you see that giant red?
Yeah. That's
thing at the bottom.
Dynamite.
I could have just moved my camera. It's a butt kicker, right? And that goes hand in hand with an amp. I'll show you the amp. And the amp sits over here.
Yeah.
This guy. And so it works just like if you had some audio equipment, like a subwoofer or a proper AV setup at home. And man, the vibrations, obviously it's vibrating up through the base of the chair and it clamps like that as an arm and it vibrates. If you have anyone living underneath you, they'll feckin' hear it. But the benefit is if you're ground floor or if someone's on that side of you, they don't hear it. So if you want to get a real like loud experience in terms of the feel, really good for VR. Anyway, I had to plug that stuff.
Yeah, no, sure.
No, it exists. It is definitely a cool way that's available now that you don't have to wait for. You don't have to wait for resolution, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to read out, because we're sort of getting strapped for time. There is one sort of story that we're going to have to miss and maybe talk about next time. That's Bullets and More. But I want to sort of just talk about this funny story. And if anyone has got a funny story in the chat as well, like share it now while I read this one out, and maybe we'll read it out as well if it's a good one. But this is an exceptional funny story and kind of works as well because obviously it's Halloween coming up and it's kind of spooky in a way. So this is from a guy called Dark Side of Oz. He's a Vive Reddit user, and he posted this in the Reddit Vive, the Vive Reddit, sorry. So this is his story, right? So I'll read it out to you. So imagine this. So I sat down and booted up Elite Dangerous to do some space pirate bounty hunting. I put on my Vive, hopped into the game, and I went online to the resource extraction site I had logged out the previous night. I deploy hardpoints and start my fight. Then something crawled across my eye. I couldn't get the headset off fast enough, tossing it at my monitor and slapping my face with both hands as if it were on fire. I stopped when I was sure there was nothing on me and looked over to the Vive. A spider had crawled out of it. Luckily, the Vive nor my monitor suffered any damage, but my ship was destroyed in-game. My nerves suffered a blow, and my paranoia of 8-legged facehuggers when putting on my Vive has increased. So yeah, important information here. Check before you put it on your face, before you turn your Vive headset into a projectile like I did.
Holy heck, yeah. That would
so
indeed freak me out.
Had a spider in his headset. It crawled across his eyeball when he put the headset on. Like, that is just...
Oh, God damn it, I can't do it! I'm arachnophobic. Like, I can't.
No. I wouldn't touch it anymore. For
That's
like a couple
absolutely
of
horrible.
I would like get all the parts out and check every part of it. and clean it as well. Just
yeah.
You never know. Maybe some spider eggs are like hidden somewhere inside.
Jesus, Nathie, make
No,
it even worse.
Scarier than it is, of course. I'm sorry, but just burn it. Flamethrower, bam.
The same thing can happen actually if you have animals. My cat, because of my relatively slightly larger than medium-sized nose, she likes to kind of rub her face off of it. She'll be standing at my desk. I was playing Alien Isolation, and I'm there in the Rift, and I can't see that she's in my room. You know, and I'm like worried that the alien's about to come, and she goes and like pushes off my face. Like, you think it's the xenomorph right there, just about to eat you. Not a good experience. So I've seen a lot of that stuff on Reddit. Like, if you let animals into your playroom, your studio, whatever you want to call it, you know, you're either going to probably hurt them by stepping on them or hitting them. Like if you have a friend or something in the room. And the other thing is that you might just scare yourself shitless.
Exactly. You just booted up your waifu simulator and then your dog started hopping your leg, you know. You really don't want that.
What? Okay, Rowdy. Yeah.
There's a reason they call him Rowdy.
Yeah. It's okay because it's your dog.
or even better, just get yourself a Vive tracker, put it on the dog, and then you got your actual dog inside the game as well.
Inside waifu simulator? Is that what you want, Nathie? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's what I wanted to add up to the immersion in a way. So yeah, that's it.
This is going too weird. So
we got a funny story, by the way.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So Andrea says, so basically, my dad tried VR for the first time. He fell down when he was underwater in VR, and when he saw a whale, he took off the headset and he said, "Get this black magic away from me." So
this black magic.
It's almost like someone got the headset like 50 years ago, and it's like, whoa, what is this dark sorcery?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what is this?
Dangerous. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I actually have to say that, like, if you wanted to do something really good, right? Like, if you were into VR and stuff, and maybe you don't want to be a content creator, but you want to do something like really impactful and nice, go to hospitals, go to old people's homes, bring VR, and let people just escape from that hellish hellhole of a prison. Because being stuck in a hospital, anyone who's been there for months or weeks or whatever, you know, like how it's just mind-numbingly boring and entrapping, those places. VR is the absolute perfect technology for people in those environments to just get a break.
Yeah. Oh, so it's a lot of like psychological diseases as well, like autism and people with severe depression, post-traumatic disorder. They're all being proven, used, right? They're all being used. Virtual reality is all being used for them, definitely.
That's definitely something that I want to talk about more on the podcast. So I'm going to make a note of that one because I think it's a really interesting topic.
It's interesting as well because my brother is working in that playing field right now where they try to get VR into, like, you know. So yeah, that could be a very good one.
Yeah, definitely an interesting topic, and yeah, we're going to have to sort of take that for next week, and I think we're also going to talk about bullets and more next week as well, because unfortunately we just couldn't squeeze it on the show this week. But just quickly, sort of, what experiences have you guys been playing this week before we sort of wrap this one up?
For me, it has been the gallery. The gallery, I've been playing that one. I've played Article 1 a bit more. Have you finished it? No, I haven't finished it yet. I actually only managed to play two episodes, basically. The first hour roughly, I think I played. And then Article 1 I've played one more time. Once I've played once, and I forgot the last one. I played quite a bit. Quite a bit.
The last one was very impressive, I hear. Yeah.
What was it again? I can check though.
I don't know. But anyway, like I tried Blade Runner.
Star Shelter.
I think it's Star Shelter. Oh yeah.
Did that launch for you? Because I couldn't get it to fucking run.
Oh, I love that game. I absolutely love it. Star Shelter.
People are telling me it's good. I couldn't get it to run live.
I really like that title. It's really fun. It's kind of like Subnautica, but then in space. You know, you need to craft stuff, you need to like collect stuff, and you need to monitor your oxygen levels, you need to monitor your food, and then you have power as well. So it's actually a very fun game because you need to manage all those things together, and you have like a gun as well. There's drones that are coming for you. You need to make sure that your spaceship like survives, and you can grow like plants to have oxygen and food and that kind of stuff. It's very well thought out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna revisit that because that sounds very good. I loved Subnautica. I didn't love the end game performance. Because Subnautica is a great game. There's loads of depth to it. And if you're just getting into VR, you might not know it's got VR support, but it's actually really good.
Yeah. I really like the concept of Star Shot. I mean, of course, they still need to get a lot more stuff out there. I mean, also graphically, you can't compare it, of course, to Subnautica, but you can clearly see that they took concepts from there.
Yeah.
So go on, Nathie. What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing, first of all, a game that almost no one knows, I'm sure. Crow, the Drowned Armory. It's something like well hidden on Oculus Home and Steam VR. Very promising in a way, but like, let's say they had a good story going, and then I was like 15 minutes in, and then it's like, well, that's it for now. We're maybe gonna make more episodes. Maybe they aren't even ready yet, or maybe we will never make them in the first place. So I was like, okay, maybe you should finish your game first and then release it. So if you want to see the review, you can find it on my channel. I got some good points on that one, but it's very promising. It's about it's kind of weird. You got like a sidekick, a fairy called let's just call her Tinkerbell. Like, that's how I call her. But they get like a little fairy, and she's helping you out in a way, and it's very funny. Like, the animations are really well done, and you feel like you are in the world. And then you need to fight like a sea dragon for a second. It's just like, it feels like a very good start of a cool game with a nice story. But then after 50 minutes, like, okay, that's all the content we made. So yeah, you just gotta wait. So it's kind of hard to explain this on the podcast. You need to just watch it for yourself. So you can find it on my channel. I also played Job Simulator, new update, really fun, totally free. They even did it like a price drop. So that's really cool. You can spin fidget spinners in VR now. You can, there are like many new Easter eggs you can give a try. It's called Infinite Overtime, and that basically means you can keep on working in Job Simulator. And you can earn promotions every time you finish a couple of jobs. Also played Theseus, was like an alt release. I figured it out later on because I saw Rowdy playing it. It now finally came out on PC. I like third-person perspective VR games. It didn't add up that much to the immersion because I like to have like things flying at my face in a way. You know, it didn't really happen with this one, but it was kind of scary. So yeah, you might want to check that one out. And last but not least, Blade Runner. And I think, Mike, you also played that one. I think it's one of the better movie-based VR titles out there. It's still not the best, but I've seen worse, okay? It's just that you go into the world of Blade Runner, you go into the city, but the only thing you can really do is use a scanner to find clues. Well, I wanted to see more action in a way, but yeah. So that's what I played. That's all.
Nice. What about you, Zim?
Probably the main one that I've done a whole bunch of things this week, and I won't remember all of them, but I Expect You to Die released their new mission, which is called First Class, where you're sitting on a train, and I will say no more. Really well done. I mean, having for the first time when I was back in the States in California, done an in real life room escape experience. I love the Shell Games approach to kind of room escape because I'm a huge room escape games fan. I think I've loved every one. I've played every one I've gotten my hands on, from like super indie ones which were done by one dev to like this type of thing where you know it's a long quality experience, and it really delivers. I think it took me an hour and a half to play it through. You have to have the other levels unlocked before it. So if you've lost your save game, it might be a little bit annoying. If anyone needs a save game, let me know. I'll happily chip you mine. But that was really good. And the second thing that I played, which is just a short little freebie, but totally took me by surprise. I saw it on Reddit, is called Air Car. It's on Oculus Home. And it probably is like a Blade Runner type vibe. Yeah. You're just flying around in this futuristic city, and just the feeling of it is awesome. Like, you're probably not going to spend more than 5 or 10 minutes flying around, but give it a shot, because it's really worthwhile, 5-10 minute download. And that was fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So myself, I've been playing, like, obviously a lot with the Windows mixed reality platform. So I played Halo Recruit, super hot. Played Blade Runner as well, which again sort of mirrored Nathie's thoughts on that one. It's not brilliant, but in terms of a movie tie-in that's free, it's actually the best one that's out there. Obviously, Five Nights at Freddy's, but in out of VR, I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2 because obviously that just came out on PC. And obviously Mario Odyssey just launched on the Switch as well, and that game is beautiful. It's such a beautiful game. And this is the thing, like right now, I feel like there's just so many great titles right now that I wish I had twice the amount of free time to play all these games.
It's not even Christmas yet.
Like... Not even Christmas yet, but it feels like it already.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I want to play Arctica 1, just got a key for that, so I definitely want to check that out. Definitely want to check out The Gallery, Luna, and also Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. I really want to play that game with you guys. But yeah, just going to sort of wrap up the show now. Unless we've got any final questions from the chat, then we'll wrap it up for this episode.
Yeah, while we wait for some questions, I also want to give a shout out to Mike for sending me some stuff.
Hey, you got it.
A BioShock t-shirt. Very nice. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Also, I can be a hipster now where I have I can work out. I never work out. I don't have to work out, you know. And I got some OC 4 pins. Very rare, you know. This belongs into a museum already. So thank you.
Yeah, nice.
Really nice.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Chocolate. I also got some chocolate.
Yeah.
I already ate it all, so.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. I'm glad you got it okay.
Yeah. So let's see. Do we have any questions? I guess so. I was so focused on my awesome gift. Let's see. Are you going to do a video for the Oculus Home 2.0 when it comes out? I think everyone is interested in that in a way. Yeah. I'm sure you can find us all on that one for sure. Also, Zim is doing live streams, so if you haven't checked out his Twitch channel yet, can I call it Twitch channel? I guess so, right?
Yeah, Twitch channel works.
Twitch.tv/ZimTalk5, and I mean, yeah, YouTube wise, you know how to find us. It's not that hard.
Google.
Yeah, we will Google it. And that's about it. I don't really see any real questions here.
Okay. What I would say is, sort of wrapping it up, is that if any of you guys want to talk to us or sort of look at more about what goes on behind the scenes with us all individually, obviously you can follow us on Twitter, and that's probably the best way to communicate with us, really. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that all our Twitter IDs are in the description, and you can catch up that on my channel as well. So like I said at the very beginning, obviously it's a weekly show, so if you're new to the show, it's live streamed every Saturday on Nathie's YouTube channel. You can tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, and 10 a.m. in Central US. Obviously, Austin couldn't make the show today. He's having some technical issues, but I'm sure we'll get that resolved for next week's show. And if you missed the podcast live, then you can catch up with it every Sunday, where I upload the whole thing to my YouTube channel, Virtual Reality Oasis. And then obviously you can catch up with the audio-only version on iTunes and Google Play Music as well. So we're going to wrap up the show, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this one. It's been awesome. We're still having a ton of fun making this. So we shall see you on next week's episode. Thanks very much, and see you later. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.